Welcome back to Red Hawk Media, and today begins our day 27 of our virtual learning academy here, and we're going to continue on. As noted, instruction will come out on Tuesdays and Thursdays from here on out. Those 2 days will be video releases, and then any updates to Schoology will be made at those points. It's just to kind of minimize some of the clutter of a daily video every single day, and hopefully that'll help some people get caught up and just focus on the absolute necessities here. The other thing that I want to still give a reminder about, because this has not changed, is that Google Meet still meeting in the same exact location, same exact time from 11 to noon. The link is on Schoology. It is the same link that I've been using all along, so feel free to hop on there and ask any questions. If that time doesn't work for you, just go ahead and set up a time with me on Schoology or Gmail, and we'll meet then. We're going to hop right into it here, and what we're looking at first is digital media, and we're continuing probably the last step of learning that we need to finish putting our game together. And that's our goal here, is to build this all out, which is we need some natural enemies here. Now, last time we met, let me throw this up here. Last time we met, we talked about putting in, let me see here. We talked about putting in an enemy animation, okay? And that enemy was basically just just their idle animation, and they weren't moving, they weren't doing anything of consequence whatsoever. Today, our goal is to get them moving. Okay, so one of the first things that you'll need is in the description below, there's a link. It's set up to my Google Drive. I've got an enemy script that's in there. You'll need to grab that script, and then you can bring that into Unity, and then you're going to apply it to your enemy with the following steps here. And let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and minimize this and bring up Unity. And let me put this full screen. And here we go. So last time we had, let me just disable this real quick. I'm just going to turn that off. Last time I believe this is what we left with. We had an enemy that was kind of like walking or doing their idle animation. Now, if you did the zombie enemy, your enemy's walking. If you did one of those enemy animations from the website that I shared with you, again, that's back in the last video. You'll want to go to the description. There's links there that have enemy sprites. There's a whole site set up for it. There's loads of different places that we can grab this stuff. I grabbed this from Game Art 2D Game Art. And, we're going to just put it into effect here. Nothing super complicated. So we've got our enemy. Enemy is animated and moving. I mean, like animated, but not moving. That's our next step. So I'm going to hop out of play mode here. And the first thing I'm going to do, which it's already on mine, but I've got that enemy script, which again, in the description below is the link for this. You'll want to download that, then drag it into your script folder here in your project. And then you're going to grab this enemy script and you're going to drag it onto your enemy. So I'm going to select my enemy and then I'm going to drag that over here. Mine is already added on, so I'm not going to do anything more than that. Okay? Now, with this script on here, the trickiest part is this. And let me reset these so I can kind of show you this. I'll put this to 0 and put this to 0. What we've got going on is we've got this this raycast. A raycast basically casts a line out in a direction that you designate. And what that line is doing is it's seeing if there's anything blocking your enemy straight ahead, and it's also seeing if there's blocking anything, if there's anything below your enemy. Okay? And what that does is it tells your enemy as long as there's something below him, he just keeps moving forward. As long as there's the moment that there's not something below him, he turns around and he starts moving the other direction. Same thing with the one that shoots straight out in front of your enemy. He's going to walk along, and then the moment he bumps into something, he's going to flip around and then he goes back. Okay? And that's the idea of what we're setting up. Now, to begin with, when you put your script in, it's going to look like this. You'll have a speed of 1, you'll have a width of 0, 0, and we have to get these two variables set up to our enemy so that they properly fit here. And it's some going back and forth figuring this out, but this is what makes it fit for any kind of enemy, I guess. Okay, so if I hop into play mode, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit play. He's probably going to freak out here. Yeah, he's not really doing anything. Oh, it helps if I turn the enemy script back on here. Let me put that on and hit play. And like I said, he's kind of twitching back and forth. He doesn't know what is what right now because we haven't set up that height and that width of our sprite. So our raycast is not working. Now, instead of getting out of play mode, I'm going to pause it right here to show you what I'm talking about. And then I'm going to zoom in on this right here. Okay, you can see this line going up and then a line shooting out to the side here. That is my raycast. The one going down is looking for the ground. The one that's supposed to be facing forward is looking for anything that might block the enemy. Now what we have to do is we have to get this in place so that it actually is pointing in the right direction. And we want that to the side of our enemy. So for instance, if I zoom back out a little bit here so I can see what I'm doing, move this down. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to set my width to, let's try 1. Okay, and I'm going to put my height to 2, and it'll show you how it moves. I'm going to unpause it, and then I'm going to repause it here. And now when I look at this, you can see here's my line. It is moved up and it's moved to the side a little bit here. Now I got to keep moving this line until it's exactly in front of my sprite and pointing forward here the right way. Okay, so again, I've already got the numbers on this, so I'm just going to type in, I think my width was 0.5 and my height was 1 is what I had it set to previously. And, oh, maybe that wasn't it. Maybe it was reversed. Maybe this was 1 and my height was 0.5. All right, and undo this. And we're getting a lot closer here to having it set up right. Make my width 1.5. Let's try that. Hey, there we go. We got the line to the outside. We've got it up a little ways. Let's go ahead and make the height a little bit taller here. And unpause and pause. And we're just about there. You can see right now this is actually going to pick up the ground and it's going to actually be in front. And that's a little bit wider than I want. Like I want it really close to the actual collider that's on the enemy. Now one other thing that is causing this to freak out is he keeps turning around because he thinks that he's not hitting the ground anymore because he doesn't exactly know what the ground is. So my next step here is I'm going to come over to the enemy mask. And again, I'm still in pause here. So I'm going to remember all these settings. And the enemy mask is basically looking for the ground and the enemy. Okay. So one of the things that we don't want the raycast to interact with is the enemy itself. Okay. And then the other thing that we wanted to actually work with is the platform. So I'm going to come on out of here. Crap, I hopped out of play mode. Platform, let me reset these. Enemy, and then I think, what was it, 1.5, and then we had 1, and let's try hit and play here. There we go. And now you can see my line is out in front. You can see the obstruction here. I just paused it. And now when I get on over here, I'm going to zoom this out just enough so you can see what's going on. We're going to unpause this again, not unplay. Okay, he's walking along. He's always going to be moving forward. And as long as he's making contact with the ground, it's all good. The moment he makes contact with something in front of him, he flips around here. Or at least he should. So I think this door has got a collider on it. Boom, hits the door, and then he flips around here. So your goal today is to add that script, figure out those numbers for your width and height, because depending on what sprite you use, it could be different than the numbers that I've got there. And again, best way to do this is hit play, and then he's going to go back and forth, and then you're going to pause it. And again, one more reminder on this, on the enemy mask, these are the two things here. Enemy and platform. Now I did notice one other thing that was causing me problems to begin with is my background was tagged default, and if I had default checked here, it was interacting with that. So make sure that you don't include default in the list here. You've just got your enemy and your platform, and again, all of your platforms should be, the layer should be platform layer. Okay, if you have any questions with that, let me know. Hop on the Google Meet 11 to noon. But that's all we're doing for today. That's all we're focusing on, is getting that enemy moving back and forth. The rest of what we have to do actually is just setting up one more script so that when I actually jump on the enemy, when I jump on top of them, it will kill the enemy. So we're gonna go old school Mario style. I know that doesn't make sense to jump on a zombie's head, but we're going to set it up that way. The other thing that we'll set up in the next one is we'll make sure that the zombie can actually take life from the player, which is what makes it a true obstacle here. So when you make collision with that zombie, then it will actually take some life. Right now, I think I want to step further. Let's see if this is actually working here. If I hop down in here and it hits my trigger, you notice there's that green box that's out in front of the zombie. It triggers his attack animation. That's just something extra that I added on there. And then after a short while, he goes back to walking normally. And then if I hop back in here, see how he goes right back to attacking? Okay, and then the moment I exit, he stops attacking. At least he should. Oh, he might be making contact with that switch, so he thinks he's going to attack the switch. He'll probably stop here in a moment. We'll see. Maybe not. He's just going to attack. Either way, working that out, not something that you need to worry about here. Just adding on some functionality to the game, having fun with the different scripts. Okay, we're going to pause there, and that's it for Digital Media 2. That's all I had that I wanted to focus on. Enemy script, get that all set. There is going to be an assignment that will be posted in Schoology that will be set up for the end of the week here, where we will have a fully functioning enemy that will take life, and then we will have one more assignment that's related to the game unit, and that will be it. That'll be it. So many of you will be happy to hear that. So there we go. We're gonna hop out of here. I'm gonna hop over to web design. Let me get out of this, and let me switch this over, and we've got web design. Okay, and in web design, what we're looking at here is we want to create we want to start working on our next website here. And just to kind of recap of what we've worked on here, we've covered a lot of stuff. We did hard coding, where we did a complete site with HTML and CSS. And then we jumped into Dreamweaver. We created a site there as well. And that site had a lot of the modern features that you would see in most websites today. The next step here is to use something that you probably see all the time. I mean, if I were to hop onto YouTube right now and an ad were to pop up, I probably would get an ad that's related to Wix. Okay, Wix is an online content management setup here for web delivery, and that's what we're going to do today. So in web design, let me switch back over. The big thing for you guys to do here, your big first step for jumping into this unit, is you're going to head on over to Wix, and let me get there, and there it is. Okay, and full screen. We're going to hop over to Wix, and you're going to get logged in. Use your school Gmail to create a login. You'll sign in. The beauty is you don't pay for anything until the very end. And that's what's nice for us, is we can practice putting together these sites. We can see all these different features, and we can start playing around with these, and it's of no cost to us whatsoever. So we can put together a complete site. I think the thing is like, they want you to build a site, they want you to see how incredible it is, and of course then they want you to purchase it. So that's the idea behind it. Your goal, though, the very first step is just get into Wix, get a sign-in, get a login created, and start looking around in there. Don't create a site yet. Just start looking at some of the features, start looking at some of the templates. So if you look at Wix and we look at some of the features, provided that this loads up here, you can see a little bit about the editor. Now, the editor you'll love, because unlike hard coding or even like Dreamweaver, where it's a mix of code and design, this is like strictly design. I mean, you could go and add in CSS, or you could add in HTML to different parts of the website, but for the most part, it's click and drag, click and drag. And this is what most people are using for their day-to-day websites that they're creating for their home businesses and entrepreneurial pursuits here. So check out some of the features. Also, what I would like for you to do is start looking at some of the different templates that are on here. There are, I mean, Wix is beautiful. It's very visual. It's very nicely laid out. All that work that you put into that Red Hawk Media site, you'll see it done here in a couple clicks, which is kind of crazy. But you'll understand everything that's working behind the scenes here. Okay, so take a look at some of this stuff. Main thing is get a login created, because when we do start our first site, that site will be associated with your Gmail account. Okay, excellent. That covers web design. That should be everything that you guys need to start getting set up. Oh, did you see that, Wyatt? Parallax. Very cool. All right, and we're gonna hop on out of here. Sorry, I'm taunting poor Wyatt here. Parallax was not his friend. And that takes us over to game design. Okay, and game design, last time I talked about going ahead and getting the small mini platform game, and I'm gonna hop over that. I'm gonna switch gears here real quick. Let me hop out of play mode here, and let me save what I've got. Okay, for all of this, and it might help if I switch this over too, so you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, but the main thing that we've got to do, well, hold on. There's that one, and send it. All right. The main thing that we've got to do is we were looking at the MicroGame. We were looking at the 3D aspect of it, and I think that in itself is a great learning tool. Just like last time, we hopped into the 2D game, the 2D MicroGame, and we started poking around in there to see what made it tick. And that's kind of the idea here. Let me save all this here. Unity file, save. And let's save my overall project. Okay, and then I'm going to hop to the Unity Hub here. And from the Unity Hub, this is what we were looking at before. Okay, over in the corner, you've got the learning features. Now, if there's anybody that can't get this, for some reason they can't get Unity Hub downloaded on their laptop, they can't get to this learning aspect, whatever it may be, I'm going to put the project folder. I believe I have access to the whole folder. I'm going to put the project folder on my Google Drive. I'll put a link in the description below on this particular video so that you can get your hands on that to start working on this. Again, I'll have to do that after I'm done streaming here, but I'll do that just as a follow-up to make sure everybody has access to this. So if I click on Learn, and we take a look at the different things, we've got all these different projects that are in here. And I'm going to start off with the first-person micro game, like we talked about. And one of the things is we're going to need to download that project. So once you download it here, it's going to open up into your editor. And then once it's in your editor, the big thing is we're going to start reconfiguring the level. Take time, as I already instructed here, take time to play through it, but better work. All right, it seems like it's working. We'll see. Okay. My poor computer's about to blow up right now, streaming and all this stuff. Okay, so once it's done importing the assets, it seems to be running here. We're gonna hop in. I want you to play through the level, and then I want you to go in and just little by little look at the hierarchy and start to make some changes on some stuff here. Okay, as soon as this is done, this is quite the process here. Your laptops are going to be on fire. My apologies. Okay, perhaps I should have done this ahead of time. Running 2 Unities might have been a costly mistake though. Okay. Now, what I would recommend is start just changing some of the different features of the level once you get in there. So you're going to see that there's a basic setup with enemies. You'll see that the enemies can shoot at you, you can shoot at them. It's a first-person shooter game. You'll see that you have the first-person controller that you're working with, which allows you to see in the first-person view, allows you to move a certain way. And then after that, the whole level setup between the walls, the floor, all of those different objects that are actually in that 3D space. And then probably the biggest thing is just learning how to like navigate that 3D space with the basics of moving around in your scene. So we'll talk about that a little bit as soon as this gets going here. Tomorrow I'm going to have this ready, saved on my desktop so we can do this. By the way, I know that this mug is a little unseasonal. My apologies. All right, so we're gonna open finally. And here we are. All right, so we can go through the tutorials, which is not a bad idea. In fact, that's what I'm gonna have you do. Go through the tutorials here. Do the whole getting started. Start here with the very first one. Play test. Work through the different levels. That way you can see all the different facets that are actually in here. I forgot that there were tutorials actually integrated with the actual MicroGame, and we did that with the 2D one. It was very worthwhile because it had a lot of features in there. The one thing, the first person creators group, I don't know if you're going to want to hop into that. That's a link. The modding tutorials, those are tutorials that creators are making and posting. That's at the end of all this. And then the make your own enemy. Yeah, I would definitely check that out. And yeah, just get started with this whole process. Start working through it. Okay? So you can hop in there to see what's what. And yeah, pretty sweet. See if we can hop in and just play right now. And there we are. And probably WASD. Yep, there we go. Oh. Yep, enemy with a health bar gives us some health. Okay, we got basic strafing. Okay, not bad. Oh man, I should go on Twitch. Alright, excellent. I have no idea what I'm doing though. Oh, this is ominous. So you can see the 3D space here and how everything is laid out. I mean, this is one really large cube that stretches out. Oh, that's a pretty sweet background. Nice little skybox that we've got going on around our world. Very cool. Okay, so when you are not doing this, then what you can do is hop out of here and then drop down the hierarchy and start looking at what are some of these different things that are actually in here. So if you click on, for instance, the floor, the 6x6 floor here, you'll see that it's actually a 3D cube that's been created. And then you can take those and duplicate them, and then you can take them and move them around in space here so that you can expand out your level. Okay, and you'll learn different features of how to actually like line these up in the tutorial as well. I forgot about that, which is very handy. So if I want to extend this out, I can create a door, all of those kind of features here. Excellent. That should give you a pretty good start to everything that we've got going on here in the MicroGame. Your assignment is going to be to finish the tutorial, and what I want you to do is I want you to modify the level. Okay, completely modify the level, and then you're going to be screen recording what you modded, and then you'll be uploading that to Schoology. There'll be an assignment that'll be posted, and that will be for Thursday actually. That we'll have that assignment posted. Okay, excellent. That'll be the due date. Excellent. Hopping out of here. I'm going to minimize this. That's it for game design. Takes us over to video production. Okay. And let's see here, video production. All right, and a big thing for you guys is to send me some ideas in response to a discussion that I'm posting on Schoology. The discussion is focused on graduation, and I'm waiting to hear exactly what it is that we're doing for graduation. At one point it was we were going to be able to have some people come in, and you were going to be able to walk across the stage and select family members. I think up to 4 or 5 would be there to see you actually receive your diploma, and then you would get your picture and all that. And then for the actual recognition part for everyone to see, there was going to be an actual video that was going to be put together of all the different graduates receiving their diplomas. The discussion just asked some questions like, what are things that, if you were a senior, what are some things that you would like to see in that graduation video to be included with it that would be significant to your class of 2020 here. So make sure you get on there. It's a really simple assignment. Hop on there, drop some ideas on there of what you think. Feel free to reply to each other on the discussion as well, and just get some ideas cooked up here for what we can do, because I have a feeling that we're going to have a big hand in creating that video, and I have a feeling some of the stuff from the homecoming video will get recycled in there. There will be picture galleries of diplomas being received, all that kind of stuff. We have to worry about music and basically just putting the whole thing together. So get on there, take care of that. That'll be posted right after I'm done live streaming here, so you can get on and take care of it. Okay, excellent. Clearing that and hopping on to Digital Media One. The big thing for you guys is for Digital Media One, on Wednesday, your movie trailer is due. So that's Wednesday that it's due. I extended it out. There were a number of people that dropped me emails like, Mr. Hall, this is taking me forever. I'm downloading stuff from YouTube as quickly as I can. They were having spotty internet. They were having a hard time finding different sound effects and all that. And those are all legitimate things that are challenges with doing a project like this outside of school. Whereas in school, I would have this whole library of loops that you'd be able to access, and it would make it a lot easier. So I extended the assignment out to Wednesday. And on Wednesday, you're going to be exporting this in a very specific way. I'm going to cover this today and make sure that you guys are ready to export this properly, which takes us over to GarageBand. Let me switch this up so you can see what's going on. Bring up GarageBand here. And you've got your movie actually in GarageBand. And the mistake that a lot of people made that posted early is they did just a screenshot. Like, I'm not sure, or they did a screen recording of GarageBand playing their video. And there's a much more efficient, better way of doing that. So I'm gonna put my project together here real quick so that you get the exact thing that you've got here. And take off the 4 count here. And I'm just gonna drag in my intro video again as my sample. Boom. Okay, let's take that down, move that out of the way. Okay, so I've got my track in here, and let's say that I've already done all of the work on all of my loops. I've got them all lined up. It's all in here exactly the way I want, pieced in here. Don't forget the master track. So if you go up to track and go show master track, this is the one that's going to allow you to mix all the sound levels together so that you don't get any distortion along the way here. If you don't do this, what you'll find is everything will be blended together and you will not like it. Like it won't give you the sound that you're looking for, and it will be hitting the red all the time on the volume, and it'll sound horrible. It'll sound horrible. Okay, so I got my video in here. The big thing is to now get the video out of there with the new soundtrack attached. So remember, we can't use the original soundtrack at all. So definitely, I'm done with this at this point. I'm muting this. It can't be part of the actual export. So I'm going to mute it, and then from there, I'm going to go about sharing this out. So GarageBand's a little bit different with movies. Normally we would go to the share menu and do our thing there, but we're not going to. We're going to head over to File. We're going to go to Movie, and let me zoom in on this. Oh, this is on a delay here. Okay, so we've got File, and then we can go to our movie. Okay, and what we want to do is we want to export the audio to the movie. So all of that audio you created gets exported to the movie. Now there's a couple settings that you want to be aware of here. Okay, first one is this. By default, it sets it up to be 480p. Most of you downloaded your videos at 720 or 1080. Now, if you're not sure which it is here, a good way to go about this, and this is a quality thing, this is making sure that it looks good and sounds good. The way that you can go about this is you could just go full quality. Okay, so whatever video is actually in there, it's going to do exactly the same as what it was. So I go full quality, and then from there, I'm going to give this a name that's going to be recognizable on Schoology. Okay, so probably include my last name, and then, you know, Trailer Hulk. Ooh, all right, and Trailer Bah. All right, and then I'm going to save this. And what it'll do is it'll export it just like anything else here. And it adds that audio on there. It'll write the movie. And now wherever I save that to, I will have actually my M4V video. And I think I saved that to my desktop. I hope I did, so I can find it here. Show you what it looks like. Yes. All right, now if you do this properly, it's going to be Hall_trailer, and it'll be .movie. Now again, if you're seeing a GarageBand project here for the thumbnail, you did not do it correctly, and I will not accept that file. So please don't turn that in. Okay, and then go ahead and double check. I can't believe how many people turn it in before listening to it. Definitely make sure that you hit play, listen to it, make sure everything is all good to go before you turn that in. If you were somebody that turned it in improperly in the first place, feel free to resubmit it here. I'll probably drop a note on it today if I get a chance to pop through those. Resubmit it, turn it in properly so that the movie and the sound are embedded together. Excellent. Okay, and that pretty much wraps it up for digital media. Don't forget that this deadline is on Wednesday to get all that stuff turned in. I think that's like Wednesday at midnight, something like that. And then we will be moving on to our actual last and final assignment for the school year. It's a longer project in GarageBand, but it'll take you through to the end here. Okay, excellent. That pretty much wraps it up for today. I don't have anything else here. Let's see. For that, just kind of a quick reminder, check your deadlines, get stuff in, make sure that you're just taking care of all that stuff. And if you need any help whatsoever, Google Meet 11 to noon. If that doesn't work, schedule another time. I've got, if I look here, I've got three different people that I'm meeting with already at different times today, and some of that's for classwork and some of that's for help, but they emailed me and I just scheduled those times. So Google Meet, the link is in Schoology, so take a look at that so that you can join us there, ask any questions that you've got. And at that point, I'm going to wrap up, which is, day 27 of Red Hawk Media's Virtual Academy, and from here, you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you soon here.